everybody, thanks for tuning into today's video. It's JMA Friday, so we're going to have a look at the month-ahead forecast from the Japanese market. We've got 500 millibar heights broken down into weekly periods. We'll have a look at those in a moment. Also have a look at weather for next week, and we're going to talk about the competition. But before I get on with all of that, just want to mention the advertisement video ads on my pages at gameswebbiz.com. If you press play on the video ad, you'll be supporting gameswebbiz.com. Thanks so much for doing that. Also got the content ads, links to articles. If there's any article that you're interested in there, some very interesting articles I've had a browse through. There's some very interesting links there. Click through the link, you'll go to the website where the article is, you'll be able to read it, and at the same time, Gaz Weathers get a royalty fee on what you're doing. These things do make a big difference to the website. I wouldn't be able to have the website without the advertising, so it pays me to sit here and talk to you via the website, so thanks so much for getting involved and doing that. Now, we've been running the competition at Gaz Weathers since Sunday. You've still got a couple of days to enter, but we're coming to the close of it now. Sunday evening is when it's going to shut around 5 o'clock. That'll be the cut-off point when you'll not be able to enter any longer. Then we'll draw a name out at random. It's a prize draw. And the name that comes out is going to be the winner of this fabulous rain gauge. This has been supplied to us by our friends at Metcheck Weather Instrumentation. It's worth £24.95, a really fantastic product. Thanks so much to them for supplying us with this. So I'd say somebody is going to win this on Sunday evening. You'll be able to see the winner announced in a video around 7 o'clock in the evening on Sunday on this page, competition page. They also put it up on the home page as well. And yeah, somebody is going to win this competition, and you might as well enter because it could be you. So all you've got to do to enter this competition, to win this rain gauge, is just email your name and address to gameswebbiz@gmail.com, and that's it. Don't need to do anything else, don't need to answer any difficult questions, anything like that. Just email your name and address to gameswebbiz@gmail.com. You'll go into the prize draw. One name will be drawn out at random on Sunday evening. That person will win this wonderful rain gauge. So get on and enter and enjoy the competition. Now, talking about Sunday, we're going to have a big increase in the temperatures over the weekend. We're going to be in for a very nice weekend indeed. So just have a quick look at the maximum temperature forecast from the GFS model for the next few days. This is today's temperatures, and temperatures are still pretty chilly weekday, but it's a little bit milder down in the southeast. Temperatures there getting up to around 12 or 13 degrees, but generally we're struggling to get into double figures once again today, particularly for Northern England, Scotland and Northern Ireland. This is the last coolish day, because as we go through to tomorrow, temperatures will really be boosted. We're going to get up to at least to the mid-teens, 14, 15, 16 degrees. One or two places probably get up to 17 or 18 degrees, but there'll be some pretty good sunny spells as well. Now, the East Coast, have to quickly talk about the East Coast because it's not so good for you. You're going to be plagued, I'm afraid, by low cloud, mist, fog on the coast. So if you're there, you're going to miss out a little bit, I'm afraid. But most places are going to have a very nice and increasingly warm weekend, because Sunday will be even warmer. It's Mother's Day, of course, on Sunday, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of people out and about, and it's going to be a really lovely day with temperatures at least up to the mid-teens, into the high teens, but quite a few places, 17, 18, 19 degrees, and no doubt somewhere like London could pop up to 20 degrees. Possibly even 21 degrees on Sunday afternoon. That is a proper taste of summer. 20 degrees is sort of the average June temperature in London, early June temperature anyway, 68 Fahrenheit, 21 is 70 Fahrenheit, and that's sort of the late June average for central parts of London. So a real taste of summer coming up this weekend. Now, it's not going to be wall-to-wall sunshine. There will be cloud floating around, and the warmth of Sunday afternoon could set off one or two thundery showers, particularly over the Pennines of the Welsh Mountains, and they'll probably get more widespread on Monday. These are the precipitation. This is the precipitation forecast for Monday, the 31st of March, and we've definitely got the suggestion there, particularly for Northern England and the Midlands, of some showers, and probably time to start using the Cape charts now as well. So this is the convective potential for Monday afternoon. You'll be seeing these charts a lot probably over the coming weeks and months as we go into the summer, the thunderstorm season. What you need to keep in mind, this is a colour scale over here, is that the more vibrant the colour, the greater the convective potential. So once you get into the summer, you're likely in thundery scenarios to start seeing these very vibrant colours at the top end of the range, which are yellow, orange and red. When you start seeing those yellow, orange and red colours, then you know you're in with the chance of some really big and intense and violent thunderstorms. Obviously, because it's so early in the year and we've not got much warmth in the atmosphere, much humidity, I should say. Because of that, we've not got a great deal of convective potential on Monday afternoon. Nevertheless, we have got these green colours around the country, just showing that there could be some rumbles of thunder, some flashes of light perhaps mixed in with those showers if they do develop. But they're the Cape charts, convective potential. You'll be seeing a lot of them, I'm quite sure, over the course of the summer. Now let's get on with the JMA month-ahead forecast, and these are 500 millibar height anomalies broken down into weekly periods. The first weekly period will be taking us from the 27th of March to the 3rd of April. The first thing you have to keep in mind is that British Isles is just there, we're upside down. I couldn't fit a term of chance the right way around, but it's very easy to make out what's going on. And we're between a trough and a ridge here. We've got a deep trough of low pressure out in the central part of the Atlantic. Then we've got this ridge up to the northeast of the country, and then we've got another trough sitting over central west parts of Russia. That's a very cold trough. I'm talking about the risk of cold weather for April. That's all gone off to the east now. It's gone off into western central parts of Russia. So we're between this trough in the Atlantic and ridge up to the northeast over Scandinavia. It's quite interesting because whilst it's fairly unsettled, particularly for the west, it's also potentially quite warm because we're bringing up these southerly to southeasterly sort of air masses between the trough in the Atlantic and the ridge up to the northeast. This would be quite a thundery scenario potentially in the summer. Talk about convective potential. If this sort of scenario occurs in the summer, we bring hot air up from the south, but there's a lot of instability associated with that trough in the Atlantic, so that is a proper thundery scenario in summer. It's not summer, so it's probably not going to be that thundery, but it could be unsettled next week, and it could also be quite warm. So warm, unsettled conditions, that's probably what we're looking at for next week. Have a look at the charts next week in a moment. Let's go through to the second weekly period, which takes us from the 3rd to the 10th of April. Still the suggestion that there's some sort of ridge up to the north of the northeast, but it's beginning to lose its intensity, its vibrancy, because so I think the ridge is starting to ease off a little bit, and we've still got this low pressure out to the west, and that's starting to move in to the south of the country as well. Quite difficult to say what's going on with that, really, but I think we're probably looking at quite an unsettled sort of week there, particularly for the south of the country, less unsettled in the north, and what you could get with that is sort of easterly winds coming in to the north of the country, whereas the south is probably influenced by more sort of westerly winds. But I think overall that's quite unsettled still for southern parts of the country, less unsettled up in the north. And then as we go through to this final 2 weekly period, which takes us from the 10th to the 24th of April, then things are sort of normalising in terms of pattern. This is a more straightforward pattern. In that we've got low pressure to the north, associated with those blue colours, below average heights, high pressure out in the Atlantic, above average heights associated with those yellow colours, and the jet stream is more or less running in across the country off the Atlantic. That's a straightforward sort of westerly type scenario with low to the north, high to the southwest. That's our typical sort of Atlantic setup. So it implies quite an unsettled-ish sort of month, I think, these charts for April. And temperature's probably ending up near a normal, but I think we start off potentially quite warm. That's certainly what the GFS temperature precipitation ensembles are showing. We'll deal with temperatures first of all. The red line here is where we should be, of course, and yeah, we're going to be seeing those temperatures boost, as I said, over the weekend. And then it stays really quite mild for several days. This is April the 1st, just here. That line there, going to be above average to start April, and that goes on at least into the first week of April, possibly into the second week of April as well. So we've got quite a bit of scatter here. Let's get through to the second week of April in terms of the temperature ensemble. Nevertheless, the suggestion from the ensemble mean, which is this white line, is that we're probably staying on the warmer side of average into the second week of month. Now, I've always had concerns about April, but it could have a late sort of cold snap, but I'm not seeing much evidence for that. Now, I think that cold air is being shoved off in towards western central parts of Russia, and it could well be, actually, but as we go through into April, we're going to see a continuation of the generally above average temperatures that we've had pretty much consistently, although it's has wavered a bit this week, but pretty much consistently since December. So it looks like the prolonged sort of warm, mild spell is carrying on into April. Although I say we do have scatter here in the second week of April, so there is the chance that it could turn cooler. But generally, I think the ensemble is indicating quite a warmish sort of spell for the first and second weeks. Will be some precipitation as well, particularly as we get through towards, say, the 3rd to the 5th of April. Then we start bringing some rain off the Atlantic. Here's the charts from the GFS and ECMWF models finally for that period. This is for Wednesday, the 2nd of April, and it's basically the same sort of setup that we've got over the weekend. We've got high pressure up to the northeast, the country low pressure down to the southwest, still bringing up that very mild southerly to southeasterly wind. But that low pressure to the southwest starts to move in later on next week, so that will turn it more unsettled as we saw on the ensemble, and probably cool temperatures down a little bit, but they'll still be on the mild side. As we move through towards the weekend of the 5th, 6th of April, basically it's still the same idea. Sort of a ridge, although it's weakening up to the northeast. Low pressure in the Atlantic, bringing rain in off the Atlantic. But winds always from the west or southwesterly points, so always quite mild, southerly airflows associated with that as we get through today, 10, Monday the 7th of March. No great changes really, certainly no sign of anything particularly cold, maybe turning a little bit more southern actually with a ridge of high pressure coming in off the Atlantic. Having a look at the ECMWF, again the ridge is to the northeast on Wednesday the 2nd of April, but low pressure is down to the southwest. As we move through to Thursday and Friday the 3rd and 4th, that low pressure will come northwards and eastwards, turning increasingly unsettled later on next week with some showers, longer spells of rain, so that could be quite heavy. We'll have a look at that in more detail in weekend forecast tomorrow. As we go through towards day 10, this is Saturday the 5th, on into Sunday the 6th. Again, the suggestion that we're bringing weather systems in off the Atlantic, but we've still got this ridge of high pressure to the northeast. The airflow is still generally southerly to southwesterly, so still quite mild. And then we end up on day 10, Monday the 7th, building this ridge of high pressure in off the Atlantic, and still no sign of anything particularly cold associated with that. So I think we are looking at quite a mild, or maybe even a warm, sort of first week to April, but it will turn increasingly unsettled, and then beyond that there's no sign really of anything particularly cold. And of course this goes against my own personal feelings about April, which was always said it could be a cold month, it could be a month where we finally start to see some colder air digging in. No sign of it, so it's good news really, that, because of course the spring flowers are out now, the fruit blossom is coming out as well, so if we can avoid any late cold snaps through April, it's going to be good news. But in the more immediate time frame, looking at a very nice weekend. And, of course, talking of the weekend, it's going to be weekend broadcast tomorrow. We'll be doing the competition winner on Sunday. Also going to have an El Nino update as well on Sunday. So things are getting very interesting in the Pacific. So I'll be doing that as well. So a big weekend coming up at Gasworthy's. Do keep checking back for all the updates. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.